What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting tutorial. This is Gon's Tutorials, and today we're going to be covering how to use these transitions that we have here available. There are called 850 transitions for Adobe Premiere version 12.1.2. First thing you got to make sure you do is make sure you have the mental health folder here, which is going to contain the transitions you're going to be using for today. It's also going to contain the music folder and the video folder. Alright guys, so once you have these folders here, we are going to have to do one thing in order to be able to open up the files. First, we're going to go into the Adobe Premiere file that's right here. And as you can see, we have a couple of different Adobe Premiere files. They're all labeled according to the resolution that you actually recorded in. For example, this first one says 2K resolution, 4K, 4K DCI, 4K flat, 4K full frame, and so on and so forth. The one we are going to be using is going to be the one that says transitions full HD 1920 by 1080, because every time we record with the cameras here at school, we always record in HD 1920 by 1080. The first thing we need to do is double click on this particular file. Now I already did that, so it's not going to happen the same way. So just for examples, I'm going to open the one next to it. But to make sure that you open up transitions full HD. Alright everyone, so once you get this little file right here, what we need to do is make sure we convert this project. This is basically so that whenever you start using this particular file, Adobe Premiere knows where all the files that are attached to it are located. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete this underscore and this one, just like so. So yours should say transition full HD 1920 by 1080. Alright, I just opened the one next to it for examples. But now that we deleted that, we'll press OK. And right here it says the project is already exists, confirm to overwrite, just press OK. And then we wait for all this to load in. Alright, so once it's done loading, you're probably going to see something that looks like this. What this means at the moment is that some of the files that are in this project, they're missing, and Adobe Premiere can't seem to find them. So you have to help find them. Right here at the moment, you see that these are all check marks. That means that it found all of this. But everything that doesn't have a check mark, like down here at the bottom, it cannot find. So you're going to go ahead and click locate. And then it's going to open up where it thinks the files should be. If it doesn't find them for you, usually you're going to look at where it says last path, which says Swift Studios desktop 840 whatever. That's where they used to be. They are now currently sitting in my mental health folder, blah blah blah. So I'm just going to go ahead and click right here. You see that it says it's trying to locate the file called broken glass /down_1, which is this first one right here. All I have to do is select the first one, press OK, and it'll automatically find the rest of them because they're located in the exact same spot. So just go ahead and let that load in and finish up. Alright, cool. Now that it's actually done doing all this, we're actually just going to go to File and click Save. And then, as long as we had to wait for this to finish, we're just going to go ahead and close it. The reason why we closed it is because all we needed to do was save it with the new folder, the new location that it's going to be placed at, and stuff like that. So from there we can just go ahead and close it, and we can now go ahead and open Adobe Premiere. Just my computer's running really slow, so we have to bear with it for a second. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and open up Adobe Premiere. Okay, so now that Adobe Premiere finally opened, we're going to go ahead and click New Project. Right here, we're going to go ahead and title this Mental Health 850 Transitions. And then on location, I'm going to go ahead and go to Browse. And I'm going to put it where my folder is located, which mine is located under Pictures. And then it's called Mental Health. And then here I'm just going to make a new folder and call it Project right, and dump it in there, and then click select folder. Alright, so now my mental health 850 transitions is going to be saved under my mental health folder and on the folder called projects. I'm going to click OK. Now here is where a lot of you had been making mistakes, and we're going to go ahead and fix that right now. We're going to go ahead and double click right here. I'm going to head back into my mental health. I'm going to select my videos and click import folder. Alright, a lot of you are double clicking and selecting stuff. Don't do that, please. Just select the folder and click import folder. Let that import, and we're going to do the same thing for the music. Of course, you guys, you have the choice of choosing your own music. I already have this song that I downloaded that I'm going to be using, but you can feel free to download your own song and use the song of your choice. Alright, now that video's imported, it is currently trying to render out all the videos down here in the bottom corner. Please let that finish up before you start doing anything with it, but I'm going to go ahead and import the song as well. So double click, go back to my mental health, select my music, and then click import folder. And then from here we're going to double click one more time, go back to my mental health, and here is where it gets a little tricky. We have to double click in here. We're not importing the folder this time, and we're gonna get the full HD 1920 by 1080, and we're gonna open that. This one's gonna tell us if we want to import the entire project. Yes, we do. And then create a folder for the imported items. Yes, we do. And then that's it. So make sure this is check marked and this is selected, and press OK. Now that might take a little while, but let's just go ahead and wait for that to finish, and I'll come back once it's done. Alright, so now everything is finally done, and the last step that we have to do is make sure we right click in this area. We're going to go to new item and create a new sequence. Again, this part you guys seem to forget this a lot, but we need to make sure we go to digital SLR 1080p and we select 24, and that's not the last step. Don't press OK. We need to change the sequence name right here, which this one's going to call mental health awareness. There we go. And we press OK. Perfect. Now that we have that, we can now begin importing our videos. I'm just going to drag this down so I can see this screen a little bit more. So just for the sake of showing you how the tutorial actually works with these transitions, I'm just going to import random footage. So also make sure you pay attention to all this. Everything is recorded in 23 with the exception of these videos right here that are in 60 frames. These can be slowed down for slow motion, and I'll show you guys how to do that as well. So I'm going to double click on this video right here. I'm going to drag this video and bring it in right here. Then I'm going to double click on this video over here, and then bring this video and put it right here. And I'm just going to import a couple of them just so you guys can see. Oh my god, what happened? Control Z. Drag the video only. Right there. There we go. Double click over here. Bring this video. And I'm just clicking on random ones for now just because I want to show you guys how the transitions work. But of course you guys are going to match it up to your music. So I'm going to go ahead and close the videos for now. And I'm going to open up this transitions folder. Now in here you have a lot of folders to choose from. So I'm going to zoom into this real quick. One thing we want to make sure we do is that this, okay, there we go. This little guy needs to be turned off. And then you have to make sure that you remove this one from here so that as not to be able to put these videos accidentally and stuff in there. So, alright, let me zoom in just so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Alright, so when we bring this over, I'm going to go ahead and bring this so that this actually lands like right there. You see how the lines match up? Now this video right here that says MP4, that's a preview. So I'm going to go ahead and select the one that says .mp4 and press delete on that. I don't need that, and I can bring this guys down. So now notice how this turned red. In order for this to be previewed, because at the moment it just shows up black, you need to press enter on your keyboard. We wait for that to render out. Okay, so here it goes. It's playing now. It still doesn't want to show us the preview. It's because it's the computer that can't really handle this kind of situations. But let's go ahead and try a different one, just to see if there's some that are not as stressful on the computer, like say slice 2 lines, right? So again, we want to drag this over. We just want to make sure that the lines match up to where the cut goes. This purple one, let me put it here so I can zoom in. This purple one is an MP4, which shows you the preview, which is an example of what the thing looks like. We want to make sure we delete that. And so here is the slice effect. That's how that one looks like. And then we will go ahead and get like lights. Open this one up. Let's go over to this section right here. We'll bring this over. Again, make sure that the cuts go where the cuts are at. The MP4 video we don't need, so we'll delete that. That's what this one looks like. Right there. We also have jolts. So let's go ahead and try out one of these jolts. We will cut this video just to have like some footage to show. Alright, so from here, I'm going to drag this jolt heavy, put it right there, get rid of the MP4. Yeah. Now this video is pretty much the same thing, so that's why it kind of looks off, but if I drag a different video, so let's go over to my videos. And I put this here, you'll see. There you go. So simple. These are some cool little transitions that you can use for your video. And notice that it's now creating a bunch of stuff, so you got to be careful with those. You also have to make sure that you add your music. And then of course, try to make sure that the cuts go along to your music. So this one is not going to match up because I was editing first and then putting the music later. But in your case, you're going to put the music first and then do the cuts later. Alright, now that you guys know how to use these particular transitions, I'm going to show you what you can do about these videos that are recorded in 60 frames. So for example, I have this video right here that plays out just like so. Right? Now if I wanted to, I can play this video in slow motion. Because this is 60 frames per second, I can right click on the video, I can head over to modify and interpret this footage, switch it from 1 frame down to 24 frames, press OK. The video will get a little bit slower, but still hold the same effect. Notice now it's in slow motion. Notice how it's now in slow motion. So I can keep something like this would be useful for my video. And then I would go on to another video right before she starts turning, so maybe cut it right around there. And then so on and so forth. So this is for every video that's recorded at 60 frames per second. You can switch it over to slow motion.
This is video. You just do whatever.
So right here, again, right click, modify, and interpret your footage. switch that over to 24 and press OK. So now this video will play out in slow motion. So I'm just going to put it up here so you guys can see it. So again, this is really cool so that you can work with your unique video. So hopefully guys, that helped you out. And again, all you're going to be doing is kind of putting all this together with music in the background and using some of these cool transitions that I provided for you. Please remember to save your work as often as possible, because these transitions could cause your video to freeze quite often. Again, just make sure that this video is about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, nothing shorter or nothing more. And remember that you need to add transitions, make it go along to the music, use some slow motion using the modify and interpret footage technique, and then make sure that you use dip to black and fade out your music at the very end. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next video with Gon's Tutorials. Peace.